I'm Sergeant Bobcat, and this is Delta Halo. What's up, guys? Welcome to Delta Halo, episode 12. I got MattyIce here with me. Cat is on hiatus this week. He's a little busy, so we're going on without him. Miss him. He's always got some great insights for us. But Matty, what have you been up to this week? How's gaming been? What have you been playing?
Yeah, it's been pretty low key as far as the gaming front goes. We got a little Halo coming in at the end of, well, I guess not the end of the week, but the beginning of the week. So kind of after we did the last podcast, we did a little bit of Halo here or there. Had a couple nice sessions. We even brought in a new player into our team for a little while there, so that was nice to have. Give a shout out to regular 28.
Oh,
Paul.
Yeah.
What's up, Paul?
Yeah, we actually were dominating. We were doing really well with him. I was loving playing. So we're doing some arena, and the rig was, we were locking that down, strongholds. That was really fun to play, to actually take some of the stuff that we saw in the X games and from some of those teams to be able to control basement and nest, and even when we got stuck back in BR base, being able to work our way out and then control those two. That was so much fun, being able to play that way rather than just capturing something and then chasing people down trying to kill. Like, actually being able to have some sort of strategy was really cool.
Yeah, we made people our bitches pretty much. So.
Yeah, I mean, there were some times where we absolutely dominated. I thought we were going to skunk some guys, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
What are you going to do? Other than that, played a little bit of League here or there with old Shawners and the Mista. And, that was pretty low-key as far as gaming goes for the week. I think that's about it.
Cool. I've definitely been liking League of Legends. Every time we get back into that, I feel like we go in such, streaks. It's always like you're going really hard for, a few weeks, and then it's, cold turkey. You go play something else, and then they make a ton of updates. You come back, you have to relearn the balance, what players are, what players are really beast in that, at that season, or, what's happening, and then go hard at it for another few weeks, and then go away. But that game is so much fun. I mean, the best thing about it is it brings us back every single time.
Right. It's it's competitive in a way and progressive, and it's each match and stuff like that. That it has a good formula. It does. It works. And with Shawners, my brother Shawners has been traveling, so he's been bringing his computer around with him, and it's a good thing when he's in hotels and stuff like that to hook up with him, get some gaming time in together and stuff. So we've been playing a little more than normal, but we've been getting into it. So
yeah, what was that Sunday morning or Saturday morning we played?
We played Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. That was fun. I think we got 1 or 2 games in, and I think the best part is just being able to learn new players. Mista being kind of a noob in the game right now, it's fun to start bringing someone else into it and bringing some new strategy to it. It really is a fun game.
It's cool. When you have people to play with, it's cool.
Yeah.
Solo,
yeah, I agree.
It might be worse than Halo in that regard.
Yeah.
it gets a little rough, but we had fun. It was a good Sunday session. I was up bugging people at 9:30, 10 in the morning. So I got up, watched the Arsenal game. I'll give a shout out to the Gunners. Got a win this weekend.
There you go.
I had cups of coffee and I was ready to go. So I was bugging people until they played with me. So.
I appreciate you doing that, though. That was fun. I've been really falling into that support role with Sona. It's been a lot of fun getting into that role. But speaking of kind of solo queuing, I have been playing a little bit of Halo by myself, going into Warzone Assault. Pretty much Warzone Assault, not necessarily Warzone really. But I've just been having a lot of fun getting in there. And the thing I like about Warzone Assault is that, and I don't know why I don't feel this way with regular Warzone, but I fly through rec cards so much faster. And I don't know if it's necessarily the feeling like I can have a stronger impact clearing out a base and then moving on to the next base, or what it is, but I fly through my hailstorms. I was using some of the Hydra Typhons, just trying all sorts of different stuff. I even use power-ups like Overshield and Speed Boost. I never use those. when I'm playing regular Warzone. For some reason, I just fly through them in Assault, and it's been a lot of fun to do that. And playing by myself's cool. Like, that's something that it's pretty low stress, and I don't really care how I do. It's just fun to get in there and play.
Right, that's the good thing about Warzone. And I think it might be just about all I play by myself, really. I throw in a free-for-all match here or there, but I mean, obviously it helps to have people. You know, if you're a group of 8 people in Warzone, you're going to do better than going solo by yourself with a bunch of other solo people. But it's to the point where that's pretty rare, and you can have fun just going in there ripping around by yourself. You know, like you said, getting rec cards, getting things. If I had 50 sniper rec cards to burn, I'd probably play 50 matches of Warzone just to get it and just go snipe people as they're walking around. You know, unaware.
I was really close the other day. I was playing. I think it was last night. I was really close to pulling out my, what is the, that Beast Saw card?
The Appetite of Destruction?
Yes, I have one of those.
I have a couple of them. They're freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
First of all, might be the most overpowered game, or weapon to ever be in a Halo game.
Absolutely insane. It's not even funny. You're like walking around, you're like a super, super mobile explosion turret. Like, it's insane.
And it just rocks your screen. You can't do anything against it. There's literally nothing you can do. So.
No, once the person hits you once, you're dead. You're going to die.
It's rough. It's rough. But it is fun to use. Definitely fun to whip that out.
Yeah, I was really close to using that. But for some reason, when I get something like that, it's not even. I don't think it's a legendary. I think it's an ultra rare.
Yeah, it's one of the two. It's not a legendary, but
so ultra rare, and like when I have those ultra rare cards, for some reason I just don't want to use them.
Oh, I hoard the shit out of them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, it would help my team win, maybe, but I just don't want to use it.
Unless I have several of them, I would never. I don't use them just because, like, I'm not. First of all, you're not invested into it. I mean, if it's like a super close match, it's getting real. Like, then I will.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm not invested enough in the actual game.
Yeah,
I'm like, but whip this out. Use this thing I was pumped about getting. So.
All right, so let's get into the news after that technical difficulty we just dealt with there. So last week, we forgot to mention that during the X Games broadcast, during one of their little commercial segue break things that they had, there was a little teaser for Killer Instinct. And so what it is Season 3 is going to have Arbiter as a playable character in Killer Instinct, and it's cool. It's a little cross-promotion thing. I don't think it's anything huge for either one. I mean, it's just a cool thing to have for Xbox.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I mean, yeah, it's a cool thing to have to throw in there. It'd be nice if we had, say, Super Smash Bros. On Xbox, and then we could just plug that in there.
Yeah, I mean, come
on, Nintendo, get your shit together. Stop making consoles. Just go Xbox and PlayStation, and just bring your games to us, please.
I would love to see them do that. That would be so much fun to be able to play Nintendo games on Xbox, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon or if it will. I mean, Killer Instinct for that type of game doesn't even come close to
Smash Bros. Just has a different aesthetic. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, it really is such a great multiplayer game.
It's like, it's able to go from casual to competitive, like party game to like super competitive, which is so rare in games. Like, it's either one or the other. Like, Killer Instinct isn't very casual, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we played a little bit of it. I mean, fighting games I don't think are our style necessarily. Played a little bit Smash, a little bit more combat here or there, but nothing major as far as that goes. And you know, Smash, I think we definitely played more of that than any other fighting game.
Yeah.
Or if you can, I mean, I'm sure some purists probably don't consider that a fighting game, but we do. So yeah, and just it's so much fun. And Nintendo games are so much fun. And it's probably a good thing for Jared and Shawners that they don't bring Mario Tennis to Xbox, because it would get ugly again. So.
That was brutal. We dominated that. Just to like throw that out there, I don't think they won a single game of Mario Tennis that entire like week that we were playing it.
It was at least a 4-day, 5-night stand of not much winning on their part for Mario Tennis.
Yes.
Other games, they held in there and they kept their own titles, if you will. But the Mario Tennis just got ugly.
No,
it was to the point where we were just giving him points.
No, I don't even remember who were we playing. Were we Wario?
I was always
Waluigi.
Yeah, we just started playing the worst people you could get in the game.
Yeah, it didn't matter. We still were destroying them.
It was ugly. It was ugly.
All right, so the weekly update from Bravo that came out, it's actually been one of his better ones, and I know he's taken a few weeks off, whether it's his traveling, casting, X Games, Snowden, up in Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was definitely a very good one to come back from. So first off, Arena Breakout was removed from the Team Arena playlist. They gathered community feedback over the 2 weeks that it was included and realized that community didn't like it. It was so different from all the other game types. Strongholds, Capture the Flag, Slayer. Right. It's just...
Was it only in there for that long? Really?
Apparently. Apparently it was only 2 months.
And I guess we didn't... I actually personally liked it, but I don't think I missed it when it was gone.
Yeah.
I don't think I noticed that it was gone, so I guess that's telling, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it was something that was great and fit in, it would have been like, wow, why are you taking this away? But it was like, okay, well, it's gone, like, whatever,
Right.
So I think they might be looking at ways to bring that back for, like, a weekend playlist or something like that, and that's fine. I mean, I totally agree with it. I don't honestly think I played it once, which is kind of weird. I really like the idea behind that game type, but I mean, I don't think it belongs in Team Arena for sure.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So along the same lines of Breakout, they brought in all those Forge maps, all those community Forge maps for a while there. I don't even know how long, maybe 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe?
That was about right, yeah.
So they had those community maps in the Breakout playlist, and they had the community vote going on for so long, and they finally took the vote and added those community maps into the original Breakout playlist. So now it's even bigger than it was at launch, which is awesome. And we talked about it on our podcast a few weeks back. It's some of those you can't even tell the difference. They were so much fun. Like, I don't think there was a single one that we didn't like that we played.
Well done. They're definitely well done and definitely deserving of a spot in a permanent place on there. So you can it adds variety. I mean, especially in Breakout where so much of it's all. I mean, the whole game is about map position, but so much of that's about where you go in the map position and stuff like that. If you're playing the same maps over and over again, if you're a real Breakout fan, it could dry pretty quickly. So having that variation is super cool.
And speaking of Breakout, it's kind of weird that it hasn't really been it hasn't been accepted very much in the competitive community very much. It's definitely been a bit of an outcast, and I feel like 343 had intentions of it being a pretty competitive mode. So I mean, I like it. I love the idea of it being competitive. It's kind of like a paintball style thing, and I find it being very fun. But at the same time, I think the team strategy and things like that break down. It's a little bit more individual skill in winning those quicker shieldless battles. So I kind of see it from both sides.
I also think it. I mean, from what I've watched from when they play on Twitch and stuff like that, I think it just slows the game down a lot for them. I think it really does. I think it really, the way they play those games and stuff like that is, it just seems slower. You don't have the ability to be as aggressive and make plays necessarily.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think that's part of it probably. It's more of just hanging back and getting the right position on the map and then making those shots and then getting the kill and then exploiting that type of thing. So, I mean, it's a different game than Halo 2. So, that may be why, too. These guys have been Halo pros for...
Yeah, Halo 2, Halo
competitive
3.
Scene. Yeah, a long time. So, it's different.
That's true.
It's more Counter-Strike-esque type of thing, rounds and an objective while you still can kill them all at the same time. So, that could be why, too.
Yeah, when you talk about it that way, I get that.
It's still fun. It's, we enjoy it occasionally. It's a good mix-up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another small tweak, but I think a very interesting one, is the tweak that they made to the blue color for the blue team, and they
Blue.
they slightly adjusted it so that it's a little bit lighter than it used to be, and they kind of identified this by taking heat maps of where teams were dying on specific maps. Sidebar: I wish they released these. I wish they released these oh my god, I can't talk, these heat maps to the community. I know they did it in Halo 3, and I think it's the coolest thing to be able to see tendencies where people lurk. I think it's something that they could definitely add a ton more to the data that they share as far as post game carnage reports and things like that. But this is something that I think they should definitely share and just take it a little bit deeper.
Come on. Right, absolutely. I mean, they did it before. They can certainly do it again with the processing power they have now. So
it's not a hard thing.
We could be able to make spreadsheets and show Cat exactly where he runs off and dies by himself, and it would just be glorious.
So great. I mean,
do it on podcast, on the video, and
I think one of these times we should just edit a film, like a reel of him running off by himself, so that he sees that what he's doing, maybe he's getting damage, but he's not helping the team. We just need to have an intervention, maybe the way that
we're gonna banner in the game. We're gonna go to Forge and make an intervention banner.
It's personally affecting me. Yes, that would be so great.
We can film it. We can have him walk in, and we've got the sweet custom map we made. It's just a big intervention banner, and then
God. That'd be hilarious.
And I'm sure he'll have a rebuttal next week.
Yeah, of course. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, so heat maps. They were looking at, specifically they referenced Eden. And if you think about Eden, it's the one that's UNSC themed. It's in the city. You have Turbine, Red Fan, Blue Fan. So they were seeing that Red Fan was having significantly more blue kills than Red. They went into game, found that there was a red building behind Red Fan, which makes sense. You're denoting that is Red base. But when Blue jumped up there, they stuck out like a thumb. Target acquisition was way too easy for Red. So what they wanted to do was kind of make it blend in with the surrounding environment a little bit more, maybe give Blue a little bit more of an edge, and just balance the color bias on the maps. So it's interesting. I think it's a small tweak, but it's cool. It's awesome that they're taking a look at that minute of things that are affecting the game on a larger scale.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how they're doing it, and I'm not sure that it's going to make that much of a difference necessarily, but it's cool that they're at least addressing it and making it. They're saying that there is a difference as far as color goes in some maps. Yeah. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I have bitched about either the red team on Burial Mounds or the blue team on Lockout in Halo 2 and subsequent games as you go along, because there's a clear advantage. Yeah. And it's who made these colors?
Absolutely.
So it's cool that they addressed it, and they are addressing it. They're trying to find ways. So
I think when you get down to it, you can't completely fix it, because every color is going to have some sort of advantage on every map, whether it's
suck it up, right?
Red, yellow, orange, blue, green, purple. Every single color will have an advantage due to whatever the landscape or foliage is. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be advantage, and what they can do is kind of do their best to work around it. And the fact that they're taking this bit of data and tweaking it as much as they are, it's great. This isn't something that the community's asked for, but it's something similar to the button customization, sensitivity customizations. They're this is something that we find to be interesting, something that could be very beneficial to the game. And for those hardcore people, they'll find it interesting. And I think that's a very cool thing. They're not just sitting by making DLC and making all the stuff that the community asks for, which they could do a little bit better with Infection, but the fact that they're doing this, they're constantly working, they're constantly analyzing data. I really appreciate the fact that they're doing that.
Yeah, it's nice. You always hear about developers, especially we have this that monitors this, and we have this that monitors that. Okay, so what are you doing with it?
It's kind of like a so what? Yeah.
Right. I'm glad you have this server or this room where you can track all this stuff, but I mean, are you just sitting there watching us?
Yeah, are you gonna do
teabag Johnny Chodestick over there or what? It's just, I'm sure you could probably sit there with a beer and entertain yourself with what people are doing, but make it useful, I guess, in a way. And show us that it's useful too. I'm sure they use some of that data behind the scenes to fix stuff that we don't know about or don't ever know about.
Yeah.
And that's great. If we don't notice it, it was a little tweak here or there that wasn't really noticeable, but it was affecting things in some ways or another. Fix it. Go ahead. If not, then let us know. And hopefully they're at least shows us that they're doing something.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the biggest thing. We just want to see that they're not coasting. You know,
Yeah.
they're being proactive about stuff.
All for it.
So the final thing with the February DLC coming up, so we just had Infinity's Armory come out at the end of January, and now we have February's DLC. Has yet to be officially announced, but they revealed a lot about what's coming. The biggest thing, which I think a lot of forgers and custom game players have really been asking for, is ball type games. So the big one being Griff Ball, of course. And MattyIce loves playing with balls in these games. He loves it. But Assault is another one that they're bringing in. And then a third game mode is Fiesta. So definitely 3 modes that the community really loves playing. I really like Griff Ball. It's fun to get in there. Again, it's like Breakout. It's a good change-up.
Right. And a little less, I mean, it can still be competitive, but it's like, hey, I don't really feel like worrying about my positioning right now.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just screw around and do something.
I just want to go gravity hammer some people.
Yeah. I mean, even yeah, exactly. And it's even more of a fun. Like, I think that's part of the reason why I was like playing snipers and stuff like that too. Like, it has positioning involved and stuff like that, but a lot of it's more like, hey, I'm going to see you, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
I'm really not going to worry about if you're going to throw a grenade at me from the left or if your guy's below me. You know, I'm just trying to figure out exactly where we are as far as sightline goes. So it's less to think about and then just shooting and kind of a nice relaxation thing.
Yeah.
But same thing, Griff Ball, Fiesta. Awesome. You know, just chill, hang out with your friends, not be competitive while not being competitive and having to worry about all this stuff and have fun.
Fiesta,
which is what video games are for.
Yeah, exactly. I've honestly missed Fiesta the few times that we've gotten in there and playing it. It's a lot of fun because you get to use weapons that you don't typically use. I mean, Warzone gives you that out where you can use any weapon that you have a rec card for, but I really like the randomness, the spawning with whatever the hell the random number generator might give you this time, and I think that's fun. It's cool,
and both are, you know, Halo's awesome, and years ago we debuted the Halo drinking game. Probably when we shouldn't have been, so we're going to keep that under how many years ago. We'll keep that in the down low. But it was several years ago, we debuted the Halo drinking game, and like that was fun to do, but like you can't drink really and play Halo in arena. No, you know, it just doesn't work.
You can try,
it doesn't end well for anybody. Nobody involved has fun. You just get slaughtered and get pissed off.
Yeah.
So Warzone doesn't have the same feel because it's often, you know, you're just running around doing stuff. So I think this is an answer to Halo drinking games, Fiesta and Griff Ball.
True social.
I mean, this is exactly what 343 is worried about. So, you know, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
I really
what we want.
Getting down to the important stuff in life.
Yes, more reason to crack beers. That's what we're looking for.
Exactly.
So Assault, we haven't talked about that very much, but they've made some really cool sounding improvements, I'll say. So they took a look at Assault as a game type and the mechanics that there are, and really tried to understand, you know, what makes Assault good and what can be improved. So, I mean, obviously the main crux of Assault is carrying the ball, taking it either back to your base or to their base to detonate. Well, actually, Assault is to detonate with the ball. Getting the ball in the middle, taking it and detonating it. So what makes carrying the ball fun? I mean, looking at Capture the Flag, it's pretty cool being able to run the flag because there's a lot that it's all about. You know, there's so many different things, juggling the flag and taking different routes, and it's very strategic. With Assault, it's really about getting in there and blowing it up. So what they took a look at was the amount of damage you could do with melee, the movement. I mean, Halo 5 is all about movement, so they're like, all right, so what can we do to help that? And then what other mechanics can they carry over from Capture the Flag? So first off, with the melee, they took it to giving you extra damage for it to be an instant kill, which I think it had to be. I mean, why not? It needs to be. If you have the ball, you don't have a gun, so you're pretty much helpless. You need to have that instant kill.
And people should be scared of you. They shouldn't just be running up to try to melee you. They should have to be like, oh, crap, he's going to whack me in the face with the ball. And I don't
like
want that
running
to happen.
into the base, if he's crouching around the corner, you just don't want to run in there because he could be hiding there with the ball, and one hit, you're done. Like
one hit to the face of the ball, you're out.
Yeah, exactly.
Out. Mm-hmm.
Sounds like middle school and dodgeball. So having an extra thrust also, I mean, it brings that movement that Halo 5 is really kind of playing up and brings it into this game type. Right. I think that's interesting. I really think it'll change it up a lot. I mean, no other game type gives you 2 thrusts, so I'm curious to see how people kind of utilize that and really kind of leverage it to their own kind of ability and see what people can come up with.
Right, I think it's pretty cool as far as like you'll see it when you play Capture the Flag, especially when you see some of the better players play Capture the Flag. They know what range they have as far as thrusting, ground pounding, or whatever they have to do to get to the flag,
or to be safe. When
increases that increases that to make more chance to make plays, and then you both have to anticipate that and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
so, pretty
That'll
cool.
be cool. That will be cool. And then the last piece that they're carrying over from Capture the Flag is the spotting mechanic. So if you're carrying the flag, once you get spotted, their target appears over your head. You can be seen from anywhere around the map.
I think it's shot at.
Is that what it is? You're getting shot at?
Pretty sure you get shot once, you get spotted. Yeah.
Okay, so you get shot once, you get spotted. How you can clear that out is by dropping the flag. So a lot of the juggling and things like that come into play. So they're just carrying that over to assault. You get shot once, drop the ball, that target disappears over your head, and it kind of makes you a little bit more anonymous, and you can sneak around a little bit more. I like it. I mean, it's kind of a common sense piece. I don't see a reason that shouldn't be there.
Right. It seems like it's all good changes. I don't think I've ever really liked an assault game in any Halo that we've had. Halo 3, I'm pretty sure we skipped it every time it came up. Probably.
Yes.
But a couple of things. I'm pretty sure, if my memory is correct, that it slowed you down a lot when you had the ball, and you were literally ended up crouching around with the damn thing, just hoping someone didn't come behind you and beat you.
It kind of made it feel like, I feel like they added weight to it to make it feel like, oh, this bomb is heavy, when in reality, like, to make it fun, you want to make it feel like you're faster. Like, you want to be able to give them some sort of advantage to actually want to pick up the ball and want to assault, aside from just winning.
Exactly. So, yeah, it seems like it'd be good changes. I'll be interested to see how it plays out. It'd be sweet if it was cool and it roped us in. That's
I would love that.
Job all done.
That would be fun. I mean, I got to say, I was never really a Capture the Flag fan before Halo 5. I just really didn't like it. But I think it's a combination between, one, getting more invested in the pro scene, watching pros play, and two, just the overall gameplay of Halo in general just makes it fun. I think before it felt slow. I think the sprint, and I think that might be what it is. The sprint and being able to juggle and sprint has sped it up enough that it makes it fun, because in past
and you
Halos,
can shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can shoot when you have it. You're not useless just crouching and hoping no one kills you. So, I mean, that's huge.
They definitely made some good improvements to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more pick up and play.
Right. You're not useless with the flag. You're not just a silly target. You can actually make something happen when you have it. You're not giving it to the worst player saying, hey, we're going to cover you, you run. You grabbing it and you can make something happen.
Exactly. So that kind of leads into the weekly intel for this week. Assault being all these changes that they're making, I don't know if it will ever make it to the competitive scene, but it would be very cool if there's good reception. I mean, obviously this season we're going into the North American regionals. Latin America still has to decide their finalist, and then we're going into the Worlds. But it would be great to see that maybe this is a consideration for next season or whatever is to come after that, whether it's a league or something like that. If it turns out to be like that, I don't know if Assault's ever really been viewed in a competitive way, but I mean, who knows? Maybe these additions will do that. So, the weekly intel this week, let's get into that right now. Weekly intel. This past weekend, we had the finals for EMEA and Sydney, Australia and New Zealand. To figure out who those countries and regions will be sending to the finals, to the World Finals. So just to start off at what has been decided so far, we have Australia and New Zealand. We have 2 teams coming out of that region, Immunity and Exiles. Asia has Team Aftermath. EMEA has Epsilon, who we saw at the X Games, and Jimbo. I really had no doubt that he would be able to take this team and bring them together and take them to Worlds. So really excited that they got out of their region, and I'm looking forward to watching them play again. I really liked watching Jimbo. I mean, he was kind of a surprise for sure. He had some beast mode plays, so that'll be cool. Then there's 3 teams that honestly I hadn't heard of before: Fabe, Excel, and Infuse. So there's 3 teams out of UK and 1 out of Germany. I think that's Fabe. And then we got the North American region. This is coming up in Columbus on the week of the 19th. Mm-hmm. We got 16 teams coming together, 4 groups. I mean, that's a ton of teams that they have to whittle down. I mean, you think about X Games, there were 2 groups of 8, or 2 groups of 4, 8 teams. That included 6 teams from North America, 2 teams from the EMEA. That was Epsilon and Penta. And, I mean, that took an entire weekend of play to get through all of those. So thinking about 16 teams coming together, it's only 3 days. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get through all 16 of those people. And to come out the other end with 8 teams to come out of the North American region to go to the World Finals. That's going to be a loaded weekend. I mean, these groups... they're stacked.
A lot of games. It's a lot of games.
It
too,
is.
You know,
it is. I mean, you think about. I mean, you watch some of that stuff, and it's exhausting when they have to go best of 5 at the end of that. It's like, oh, man, like constantly talking, constantly thinking, playing that strategy, being on top of your game, and then I don't know how much of a break they'll get between games, but. You got to just keep rolling. Got to play that round robin before you can get out of there and go into the quarters and semis and then the finals. That's a lot of games to win.
A lot of games. It's a lot of games. But at the same time, I think the format's going to be, a point where you can see some upsets and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
With there being a lot of games, you have to have a lot of good teams. I mean, I don't think that any of these teams are bad.
No. You got to think about. Just to take like a step back, you look at the LCQ, which also happened this past weekend for North America. A team called Optic Gaming came out of the LCQ. I mean, that's a team that I think it comes from Call of Duty fame. Like a lot of people know Optic Gaming if you're thinking about esports, and they had to go to the LCQ in order to make it into the North American region. So I mean, that just shows how stacked this competition is.
Yeah, and that's the last chance qualifier. If anyone didn't know that, by the way. I figure you might want to let them know. We're not just throwing numbers out there,
And also, I mean, Optic Gaming.
Letters.
If you may have not heard of them, you got Optic Flame Sword. Right now, he's got a huge beard, Optic beard. But I mean, he's one of those guys that was definitely at the forefront of esports here for a while now, and I mean that team, they're not one to overlook. They're in a tough group, but I mean. Coming out of the LCQ, I think they have a really good comp with their team, and they could make some noise in the group stages.
Yeah, they got that big Mo too, so you never know, right? I mean, you're looking at this is a series and moving on thing. This is not with having 6 teams like that. I mean, it's not NCAA basketball level where you're seeing upsets like you do there, but it's a tournament with brackets that a team can get hot and. Take over, and who knows? I mean, I guarantee we'll see some upsets.
You look at the World Cup. There's always teams that come out. I mean, there's always there's always a group of death. There's always a team that some good team is not going to make it out. Somebody does an upset, and somebody makes it out. And you're looking at some of these groups right now, and Group A with Allegiance, Dream Team, Triggers Pound, and Optic Gaming. I almost have to say, I mean, and Group B, Group B's got some good teams too, but I gotta say Group A's might be the, not necessarily like the top teams group of death, but you're gonna have Allegiance, Dream Team, and Optic Gaming really all gunning for those 2 spots to get out of the group. Right. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I think Allegiance definitely has the top team in that group, but is it Dream Team? Is it Optic Gaming? Is Triggers Pound going to be able to pull, a Cinderella story and get out? I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot on the line in that group.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm voting for anyone that's all about the pounding. So, a shout back to the Pound Town Penetrators, NHL, EA Sports Hockey League.
Yeah,
so that was our team name.
If you ever played us and then you took our team name in. NHL 14.
Rat bastards.
We had to be OG PTP because of you. You think you had the original name? That's a lie.
Somebody, first of all, no one in their right mind is going to come up with the name Pound Town Penetrators. So that was my brother. We call him the Birdman. Came up with it out of nowhere. Like, what should we name our hockey team? Pound Town Penetrators. Like there was no doubt in his mind.
Okay, great idea.
So,
let's do it.
Somebody stole our name in like a early access for NHL 14.
Yes.
They stole our name. Who goes in like, hey, we got pounded by these guys. We're going to steal our names next year. Like, screw you, douchebags. You can. There's a special place in hell for you, sir. Get out of here with that nonsense. Anyways, we digress. But
so Group A, who are the top two you're picking to come out of there? We got Allegiance, Dream Team, Triggers Pound, and Optic.
Yeah, it's pretty open. I think you see Optic as maybe a potential getting out of there too, as the 4 seed. Dream Team's good. They're good. Allegiance is good. I think that's a 1-2. I think it's a 1-2 team. Allegiance, Dream Team moving on. They're both pretty established and good. And this is gonna be tough for the other teams to potentially maybe see a couple games here or there. I think we might see potential last game coming down to the last game in that too, but who knows? So I think that's probably what's going to go.
I tend to agree. I'd love to see as much as I'd like to see Allegiance and Dream Team come out of there. I would really like to see Optic squeak out. Coming in from the LCQ, they were the one team. They were the one team to come out of the LCQ. You didn't have two teams coming in. It was only one. Win and you're in, and they made it all the way through that group. I would really, really like to see them Cinderella story for sure. Come out, Allegiance, Optic Gaming, Flame Sword. I would like to see those two out of Group A.
Right, like you said, they could have momentum. They could go in and just crush it.
Yeah,
never know. So it's the nice thing about having group stages too, is they actually get a chance to see each team play, and not just a one and done type of thing. So.
Absolutely. So Group B, we got CLG, who is going to run away. I mean, they're ridiculous, as we saw in the X Games.
Yep.
You got Noble Sports, Team Elevate, and Overdrive. This is another one which I got to say, spot number 2, it's got to be up for grabs between Noble and Elevate. I don't know, honestly, a whole lot about Overdrive, so I can't weigh in on them very much, but I do know that Noble and Elevate both had their chance in some of the qualifiers, and I think it might go either way.
Yeah, I mean, you look at both of them, they were in the runnings, a lot of times they were in it. They were in the discussion, they weren't the team out, in the first round or whatever. They're actually in the discussion playing these quality teams in the tournament, like in a couple games into the tournament. They've been in it. So I don't think that while they may not be the best team in this group, I don't think they're going to shy away from anyone. So I think it's pretty open in that. I honestly don't know who's going to come out of it. So other than Counter Logic. So
Counter Logic's going to run away, and then second spot's up for grabs. I guess Group B, we'll see what happens down there. But Group C, we've got some. I mean, this is another. It's hard to say. So I came out top saying Group A was a group of death, but I mean, every group here has some very good teams. I mean, Group C, you got top favorites, Evil Geniuses, and then you got Team Envious, Denial Sports, and Winter Fox. All three of those guys have had some good showings in qualifiers.
Yep.
Winter Fox, qualifier 5, they were right there as well. I mean, were they in the top 5?
They were in that 5 to 8 range, which they qualified as. So probably around 7-ish. Somewhere in there.
So Winter Fox was they were in the 9 to 16 range actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they definitely had some good showings there throughout the qualifying rounds. So again, it'll be interesting to see how that one shakes out. Evil Geniuses is going to run away. They probably won't lose a group round.
Right.
But the other 3, again, it's a shakeup.
Yeah, it just seems like who's ever going to be the team that comes to play in this qualifier or this tournament is going to get out with what they're looking for. They're looking to move on. They're looking to move on. I don't think that any of these teams that we talked about so far, and we will talk about, have necessarily a shot of winning it. But you get out of your group stage, that's good. They're the U.S. soccer of
yeah, exactly. So
you want to get out of your group.
You made a very good point about you might get out of your group, but you most likely won't win it. I mean, when it comes down to it, you really have maybe one team, top team in each group, who one of those 4 is going to win it all. And in reality, it's going to be one of those 2, being CLG and Evil Geniuses. I'd love to be able to say Team Allegiance will be there. I mean, Nated needs to show up. He needs to have the energy, which he lacked in the last rounds in X Games. But, I mean, you watch those X Game matches, sure. CLG and Evil Geniuses were they were on another level, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, they really did look at another level. we'll see how it transfers over. We'll see. It's a whole new tournament.
It is.
That's the thing. And these teams have all these top teams have been, well, it's been kind of the same teams up there. It kind of changes. It really does. It's been changing from qualifier to qualifier, from tournament to tournament. It's just it's something that's it's fluid. I don't know if there's really any way to freaking really pick. I mean, obviously,
I think I think the interesting thing to see when we get into Group D here, which we haven't talked about yet, Team Liquid, Renegades, Soar Gaming, and Severance. You got 2 top teams there. I think we can pick right now who are going to come out, Renegades and Team Liquid. We saw those guys both at X Games. Both teams, I think showed a little too little too late. I think they came on strong in their final rounds when it just, it's too late to really show anything. So I think both of those teams have some potential. They have some strong players. Liquid had some very strong qualifying rounds. And Renegades, I mean, they pushed the envelope on speed. They're a little reckless. If they can get their objective game types together, they could really make some noise.
Yeah, I think that those are probably the top 2 teams coming out of there. I think you'd be a little worried if, as a Renegades fan, I think I'm a little worried considering, yes, they made it, out of their group in the X Games and they played fairly well. I wasn't overly convinced with them. I could see either, Soar or Severance potentially pulling, getting in there and taking advantage of how they play and stuff. I'm guessing skill's going to win out. But it's something where it's it's up in the air, and that's kind of what Renegades does and how they play necessarily. Yeah, that's kind of the double-edged sword.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, they have a lot of individual skill, and maybe the team play is still kind of coming together where you need that in the objective game types. When it comes to Slayer, you can definitely have good positioning and win skill over strategy a little bit. I think they're open to being picked off a little bit. Liquid,
or even Liquid too. Yeah.
I mean, they both are. I mean, Group D could be up. It's so much of what we say here. It's you start talking about it, and then you kind of convince yourself like, hey, maybe anybody can win. And I think that goes for a lot of these groups, except for CLG and Evil Geniuses at the top of theirs. But I mean, the other spots are really up for grabs. So we've kind of went over each group. Who's your dark horse out of all 4 groups? Who you think has a chance of making it out of the group stage, maybe on to the next few rounds?
Yeah, I think if you look at Winter Fox, I think you see what they've kind of done. They're going in as the 14th seed, right? I think that's what it is. So they're the 14th seed. Obviously not where you want to be as a team, but I think they're pretty experienced, and I think they have enough of a decent enough team that they can make some waves and get out of the group and move on. So see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean they had a stronger finish than my team, so I think I'm gonna go with Team Elevate here. I think I like their makeup. Goofy, straight sick. I know their 5th qualifier. They did not finish very well. They're down in that 9th through 16th bracket. But I think they can. I think they have some of the skill. I mean, straight sick. He's been around. Oh God. I think they can definitely make some noise if they can stick with CLG, get out of Group B, pick up the rest of their matches there, get into the next round, and then kind of fend for themselves and see who they got after that. But that's who I'm kind of picking to do a little bit outside of their group.
Yeah, like we said, it seems like it's pretty up in the air. So hopefully we'll see some intrigue and some drama and potentially some upsets. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see outside of these group stages moving on to semis and finals. I mean, me like everyone else is probably rooting for an Evil Geniuses CLG rematch. I mean, God, those storylines.
Give me a Cinderella story, Loxy. Come on, Cinderella story. Let's get it.
I don't know.
Out of nowhere.
I mean, while that would be incredible, it would be sad to see Evil. I really like Evil Geniuses. I love their play. I like their team. I like their makeup. CLG again, just rock solid. It's hard. I mean, it's really hard to pick a team. I'm looking for Legions to come back. I mean, that was the first LAN tournament. This will be number 2. I think they probably learned a lot. They had a good showing, and I'm looking forward to see what they can bring this time around.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it's a different atmosphere, being all together in a LAN. Things are, it's the same thing, and you're playing, and you don't have to worry about internet or anything like that. It's still a different situation.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
together in a place with time between matches together and all this stuff, So
there's a lot to really kind of compile and think about and really kind of bring in rather than just sitting from home playing over the internet. It's a different comfort zone, you got to reach.
Yeah, I mean, look at any competitive scene in anything. Establishing what to do when you're in a big situation and the what you do pregame and postgame and all that stuff. That's a big role in how a team performs.
Absolutely. So. You look at any sport. I mean, this is a little bit different because it's they play together, but they're physically not in the same place playing together. Right. But you look at any sport going into a hostile road environment. I mean, that's so much that you have to really take in. While this isn't a road environment, it's neutral territory for everybody. You still have to think about there's going to be team favorites. There's going to be people rooting for certain teams, making more noise for others. We saw it in the X Games. Evil Geniuses were getting all the love in the finals. People were, chanting EG. Certain teams are definitely going to be favorited over others. So you got to be able to come together as a team more than anything, I think, and just be able to push out any sort of pressure that you're getting from there. Yeah.
Absolutely. They can't. They have headsets on. They're listening to each other yell. In some cases, and that's something. But then, after you put the game down and you end your game, say you win, you move on to the next round. Again, some 16-year-old punk kid decides to come up to you in your hotel room as you're walking through and say, "Hey, you got so lucky on this. You suck. You really suck. You're going to get destroyed next round." You can wave it off, but I mean, I'm not saying that happens, but that could, and that's
you look at
the thing.
Yeah, I mean, and even more immediate than that, you look at each guy. At least in the X Games, I don't know how it's going to work in this kind of event. But the X Games, after every round, those guys were on their phones. They were tweeting. They were favoriting. I mean, that's what I loved.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's part of what I loved. But at the same time, you definitely have people calling guys out. That Lethal had guys calling him out after each round when they were playing EG in the finals. People were tweeting him saying, "You suck, you're going down, have regret." It just, everything was stacked against him. And maybe at that point he blocked it out because it was the finals. But at the same time, there's those little distractions that can get to you and really just kind of take your focus a little bit out of the game.
Messes with your focus and your routine. I mean, it absolutely does. That's it. You're still the same person. You're still the same player, but it's just something's different. It's not exactly the same. And when you get to this level of competition, as we talked about before, it's the small, tiny little details that can make a huge difference and can blow up.
Yeah.
You look at that, and I'm also thinking, I guarantee they all watched the past broadcasts the night of after they go on. Yeah. Whether they were criticized by a commentator for a move they made, or it's why the hell is he there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All this stuff messes with someone's psyche, and that's my type of thing. So I always think about how something might affect people, and you kind of have to be able to shut it off.
Yeah.
New experiences can be tough for people like that. They have to learn to adapt. So
if you get stuck up in your head thinking about something that I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that, I wish I had hit that snipe, in X Games, thinking about people sticking themselves a few times. It's if you didn't do that, we might have won. It's those what if you can't drop those and move on, that'll definitely weigh on you. I mean, there's so many things in that stage, that level. If you can't shake it off and move on, it could wear the team down. So, I mean, it's gonna be incredible. I mean,
cool. Super fun.
We're both trying to get down there for the actual event down to Columbus. We are trying to track down some tickets. Selling out 2 weeks ahead of the competition. I was able to snag one. MattyIce didn't get one. We're trying to still track one down. We know that the way it works is a little bit tricky with will call and things like that. Right. If anyone has an extra or they have a line on tracking one down, definitely please let us know. We would love to be able to get on that. We'll be forever indebted to you for that. Right. But definitely looking to get down there, record some videos, record some podcasts, give you guys that aren't able to make it and can only watch on Twitch as much coverage as possible. Really, again, I mean, we say it every time, but this is really for you guys. So if you have any sort of contact, please let us know. We would love to be able to hop on that.
Yeah, any lifeline at all. I'm in contact with MLG and the venue and stuff like that. So trying to work things out. But unfortunately, I didn't get what I wanted to. I honestly didn't expect it to have the selling power that it did. It's cool to see. In a lot of ways,
it's great.
But unfortunate, and hopefully something works, because we really do. We want to cover this event. We want to be there. We want to be able to come back and give you guys, the people who weren't there, a first-hand experience of what it was like to be there. Honestly, and that's what it is. It's different, and we're all about. And if you're listening to this podcast, you probably listened to our previous podcast, and you understand how awesome we think esports are, and the Halo scene in esports is going to be and is right now. We were passionate about this. We're pumped about being in this type of environment, have this type of tournament going on, and seeing what happens with it. So we're hoping to get there. We have plans just about made. We just got to figure that out. So
yeah, I mean, stay posted with us. Exactly. Please, if you hear anything, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. You got Part-Time Elite on Twitter. You got underscores in between part and time, and underscore in between time and elite. Yep. And you can also hit me up. Yeah. Speaking of underscores, you can hit me up at MattyIce _IceGaming. All one word, Ice Gaming. That is my Twitter handle. You can hit me up on that and send me a DM if you have any information or anything like that. You can get me there. And then me as well. If you don't want to talk to him, you can tweet me at SGTxBobcat. It's Sergeant Bobcat. Definitely tweet us. We respond. Yeah. We're all over it. Absolutely. We're on it, and we'll also, we'll link some information wherever we can so you guys have access to it if you need it. So. We'll get that down in the show notes for sure. I mean, that'll do it for episode 12. This has been a really great conversation. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Matty, you have any closing thoughts before we close this one? No, I enjoyed it. I'm excited for what's coming up here soon. I'm excited for what we can see, and if you guys want to continue any conversations, you have our information. Can hit us up on Twitter, hit us up anywhere we can, and we're happy to keep things going off air, if you will. So. Yeah, definitely tweet us, let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.